Please rise for the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone here today. Please ask you to make sure your phones are silenced in some way. We'll begin with, I'll entertain a motion to approve minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve minutes of the last meeting.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. We'll begin with department heads. Judge, you have 144, I believe.
I've got the need to get a new criminal court reporter, and I have a person in mind, Julie Phillips, has applied. I'd like to hire her. She has some really good experience. Some of her background she has is with the Indiana Department of Child Services, and I think that would be very helpful to us, the fact that she's familiar with the procedure. I think that's really difficult for people who don't have that sometimes coming into this job, because they don't understand some of the language and other things. She also has a bachelor's degree, including a minor in criminal justice, which once again will really help her out in that position, because she'll understand the procedures that we're dealing with and the timelines we need to meet and things like that. So I'd like to be able to hire her for the job.
Sir? A motion?
I'll move to approve the 144 request to circuit court.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the 144 request for circuit court. Any questions or comments for the judge or anyone else?
I wouldn't want to put him on the spot.
I appreciate that.
All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bill Mackey?
I don't have much. I just want to let you know that Bridge 90 is moving along. I went to a early coordination meeting Friday at NDOT, and the preliminary bridge plans have been submitted. And as far as the initial letting date, it's not carved in stone. They were going to do 12 of 2021 for the letting, but we had them back it up to 10 because we're going to have some trees taken out, and we don't want to get in a bat situation on the north side where the city's got their water line. They're going to have to move it. So we've got to take down some trees along the creek there. So we give us a couple more months to get all those trees out, because of the bats. So when they're gone, but other than that, and then the archaeological I told you about a while back, they wanted more. They're not sure. Greenfield's going to check downtown and see if that's even needed, because there's been so much disturbed with that channel. That channel was rebuilt about 20 years ago, and they didn't find much then. So they're going to see if they can't
Work around.
bypass that. If not, Kim said she would try to get some money. It's no guarantee to pay. I mean, it's $6,000 for the study, and then the cost of the backhoe, $7,000–8,000. But if possible, she's going to try to see if there could be some money available. No guarantees, but that's kind of holding the project up right now, because all the archaeological's got to be done until the right-of-way and everything else moves forward. But that's pretty much where we're at on it.
On the east side, we own, the county owns everything that's going to be involved already, don't we?
On the east side,
Or, yeah, on the east side of the bridge.
no. I think Mr. Flum owns both sides. I mean, we only got our right-of-way on that,
We don't own, that's
We
not
just
part
have
of the
a small
county's
farm.
farm?
No, the farm's farther east.
Okay, I thought that field right next to the bridge is ours.
No,
Okay.
it's farther east.
Okay, all right.
But no, it's
So-
only one. We have to deal with him as far as right-of-way.
On both sides?
Yeah, so that'll make it a
But
little
that's the
simpler.
trust, isn't it?
Probably
now.
is now,
Yeah,
but that's about where they're at.
okay.
So
All right. Anything else for Bill on that, on Bridge 90?
moving forward.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
alrighty.
Michael King, do you have anything for us today?
Just an update on the data retrieval. I found some backup data that brought us up to, I believe, April 5th on the auditor's data. I'm still working to see if I can get the other 78 data back to bring us back up to June 22nd, but I don't know where I'm at with that, to see if I can find that remaining gap, but at least got us up from where we were before, which was July of last year, to April of this year. I'm still waiting to hear back, and I asked for an update from the data retrieval company to see if they have, they have the drive that I sent them, and it's in process, but I haven't gotten a quote or an update yet from them. But so far, I haven't heard anything one way or the other. Also, I'm not sure if you saw the news, but Lake County was just hit with a ransomware. They paid $130,000 for ransomware. All of their systems were encrypted. They had backups, multiple backups, but the way ransomware works, their backups got encrypted. So that's something that I thought I should bring to your attention, because they had a policy through their insurance that covered some of that cost. I think they had a policy that would cover $100,000 of that. Granted, they still had to come up with $30,000, but that's better than $130,000. So that might be something you'd want to look into with our insurance carrier. I'm not sure how that would work or what costs might be involved with that, but given the threats that are out there and how prevalent ransomware is and threats like that, at the very least, I think it's something that we should look into. I have no idea what the costs are or how it works or what the requirements are, but
Are you able to, is there a preventive measure for ransomware? And if so,
Well,
could we compare that cost to what it would cost us for our insurance?
I'm putting what preventative measures in that I can. I've
So
sort of,
we're as protected as
that's
technology
part
allows
of,
us.
That's part of the backup stuff that I'm, the changing in the backup procedures that I'm doing, plus antiviruses and all those kind of things that we're doing. I mean, that's like what Lake County had.
Mm-hmm.
They had all that stuff there. But, those protections only go so far.
Mhm.
Once that stuff comes in, they got the FBI involved, and the FBI came in, and now the extra step that I think that, I don't know about what Lake County does, but one extra step that I'm going to trying to set up, and I'm looking at softwares to do, is to have an extra off, because the way ransomware works is it infects it like a virus, like a sickness. So it gets in one computer and it gets out to the other drives. Well, if we have extra copies that are in an external drive that it can infect, that's how I'm going to try to protect that. But you can only, obviously can't go around to all 500 or so computers that we've got, or 300 or so computers that we've got, and do that for every single computer every day. I can do it for the primary servers every so many times a week, and do that for the data every day for off the servers, but I can't do it for every computer every day. So there's always going to be a risk of some loss on the individual computers.
So does this come in on emails, or does it come in when you're using the internet?
It
or-
comes in off of web pages, it comes in off of emails, it comes in off of somebody trying to break into the system. And ransomware comes in through multiple vectors. There's no real one set. One that I know of, one vector that I've seen came in through an advertisement. Somebody went through a web page, and ad popped up on the web page. It popped in through that. So, there's multiple different ways it can sneak in. So we keep the antivirus is updated. People don't down stuff. That's why we keep the spam filter, why we pay for that. That's why you pay for spam and antivirus software. That's why you do what you can. You back up the stuff as we go. But given the exorbitant costs that ransomwares charge, and the costs that can come from that kind of stuff, I have no idea what those policies cost, but if it's not super expensive, it might not be a bad thing to look into.
Right. Not be a
It
bad-
definitely wouldn't cost anything to at least ask the question.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So,
Michael, let me ask you this. If it was publicly known that you did have a ransomware insurance policy, would that highlight you as a potential target more so than if you didn't?
I don't think so. Not really, because just being a entity with a computer, I think, makes you just as much likely a target as anything else. I mean, because they don't know that you're gonna pay the ransom any more than, just because having the policy, look at Lake County, okay, they had the policy that covered $100,000. That doesn't mean they're gonna come up with the other 30,000, that just means it covered the 100,000. You know what I mean? Just, you know, if you have my brain's fried today. If you have an insurance policy that covers so much, but you have to come up with the other part of it, and you can't come up with the other part, it means you don't get those repairs done on whatever project that you've got to get done, unless that party that's going to do those repairs is going to let you go on that little bit that you can't cover. See what I mean? So, and most of these ransomware places, it's all automated. They don't care. They're just throwing it out there in an automated fashion, and what they catch is what they catch. It's not really a targeted situation. It's just,
You don't think they look for
no,
potential targets that are insured?
not really. It's mostly, I'm sending this thing out in the world, catch what it'll catch,
You're just fishing.
pretty much.
And this ransomware is something that we can't fix on our end. It has to be fixed by them, is what you're
Most
saying.
of the time
It's-
it's-
They're holding us hostage.
Pretty much. Some of things they've found ways around. There are some ransomwares that, one of them they sent out a ransomware and they also sent out the encryption key. So here's the ransomware. Oh yeah, by the way, here's the way to unlock it. You know, it was so simple that people had the encryption key out the next day and people were unlocking it that fast. Other times, there's an encryption. One of the first ransomwares, CryptoLocker, that came out in 2014. It was one of the first ransomwares. Here it is 5 years later. They still don't have a way to unlock it. So some of them, they found ways to unlock them. The FBI has tools to unlock some of them. Some of them, they're still, you know, once it's locked, and let's say unlock it for you.
And basically what you're saying then, the FBI didn't have for Lake County
Yeah, for
the
Lake County, they
capabilities
didn't.
of unlocking it.
Yeah. And some of it, it's kind of the cost versus reward and what your timing is. Christmas before last, I think it was Los Angeles College, they have a unified system that covers their internet, phones, servers, computers, and everything. They got a ransomware that locked up all of their systems. And I think it was like right after Christmas. Well, they got to start classes right after New Year's. They paid something like $100,000 to get the ransomware unlocked so that they could have classes. Sure, if they didn't pay the ransomware, if they had more time, they might have been able to get it all restored. But they only had 5 days. You know, so that's part of what you got to look at too, is how much time do you have? Which is more expedient, paying the ransomware and doing that, or going which way, and which is part of the cost. So anyway, I just want to make sure that you guys were aware of that and were,
It'd certainly be worth looking into.
yeah, something that as it becomes more and more of a threat, it's one of those things that, you know, something that it is out there, and it's one of the reasons why we got the new firewall, one of the reasons why, you know, that's a $9,000 purchase that some people will look at, you know, and even then, $9,000 is not that much of a compared to some of the ones that are out there. It's not that big of a firewall compared to what's out there, but it's definitely needed. So, any questions or anything for me?
Yeah, I do. We got this thing from Verizon's salesman.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to, I don't know whether you want to contact him or see what he's got to say, but I feel you can do better than we can.
All that email that we
About
got the
the
other
phones
day.
and
Yeah.
all that.
New contact or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, about the cell phones?
yeah.
Yeah, I can contact him. I think it was mostly about,
He just wants to see if we can't charge us more.
probably.
Okay.
And I don't know how much of that would really apply to us because I don't know that we really, other than the sheriff's department, air cards, I don't know that we really use that many mobile devices like computers and stuff. But yeah, I'll give him a call
Okay, thank you.
or drop him an email. So
Anything else for Michael?
Give us an update on that data recovery whenever you can.
yeah, I shut the server down over the weekend and ran a data recovery process directly on it and got a whole bunch of data on it. I don't know how much of it is relevant yet. I haven't had a chance to scrub through it yet and see what was there, but I did recover a whole bunch of files and various information there, but I don't know what is actually stuff that is information that was from that period or how much it was just various files, because it covered everything that was on that server, not just stuff that was from that specific little period. So I'll have to see what's there. So I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Interim Director Michael Berger for Animal Shelter.
I want to apologize. I had everything printed out and ready to come down to the meeting and got locked out of the building because the Work One helper dropped the keys down the drain. So I had to come. Luckily, I had a spare key to the truck, or else I'd be stranded up there waiting for somebody to bring me a spare key. So apologize about that. But I was able to get a hold of Midstate Energy on the first bid that you guys had asked that was presented to you. I don't know if Jane had gotten you guys a copy of that or not. And
Gotta bring it up.
yes, and apparently they are replacing every single bulb in the building and rewiring every ballast to eliminate every ballast. So they are replacing every single light in that bid to become LED.
And your other bids were not?
The other bids were not. The other bids were just the inside of the building only. There's 2 security lights on the outside of the building on the Plaza Hut. And they were rewiring that to be LED in Midstate. Because unfortunately I didn't know everything that David talked to Midstate about. So
really we probably need to go back to the other 2 bids.
I'll have to go back to the other 2 bids and get them to match everything that the
So we
first
can-
bid was.
So we can at least compare apples to apples.
Right. But I do know that they had put a savings on Midstate of the rebate was like 206, I'm sorry, I don't have the figure in front of me. I believe it was like 268 or 265, somewhere around there. And they had just taken that off the bid to bring it down to the $600 range.
Did you get 2 quotes from Midstate?
There's 3 separate quotes. They also quoted the outside lighting as well. So they quoted the first set with the floodlights. That's the same bid as the other 2 companies had done as well. And then they thought that they could save us some money as well by doing the 4-foot LED fluorescent lights. And I believe we still ended up saving more money by doing the flood lighting instead of the 4-foot. So they presented a total of 3 bids.
I only have one here from Midstate. Two from K&K,
I think it came late.
and one from Bader.
Yeah, he was passed it
But I
out.
haven't found the right email yet, so.
And there's a substantial difference.
There's a huge difference in pricing. I believe Midstate for the outside lighting was $416, where the other two bids, one was over $1,200, and I believe the other one was over $2,000.
Here's the second email he sent.
Is that okay, that one's 258 and this one's 426. Yeah.
Bid two.
But on one of the papers, they had put two bids on the same.
Yeah, 416 and 426, right?
Correct, yes. And that's the difference between the floodlights to the 4-foot LED fluorescent bulbs.
They talking about using 4-foot LEDs on the poles outside?
No, they are rewiring the security lights that's already there and just going to put a floodlight in that one as well, but it's going to be an LED floodlight.
Okay.
But I believe those bulbs they're talking about is $120, and they are apparently there's a rebate of $60 per bulb, so we'd only be spending $60 just to change out the bulb. But what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to do all the work and then submit all the paperwork themselves to receive the rebate from Duke Energy, so we don't have to go through the hassle and pay the extra. They're wanting to just sit back and wait for 8 weeks to receive the rebate.
These bulbs cost $120. You get a guarantee with them?
There's a 5-year warranty on them. That's through Midstate. They guarantee everything for 5 years. Which would be nice because those bulbs out there, they're blowing like every other month. So there's no lighting on the outside at all right now.
So otherwise, this is, the one estimate from Midstate shows a $416 cost, and that's for putting floods
Those are for floodlights in the kennels themselves on the outside of the
on the
building.
outside.
That's to light up where the dogs can run in
426
between.
Is the 4-foot fluorescents out in the kennel.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the second page
That is the first bid that David had them come up and do.
was $1,076. And that's to redo the interior lights?
Is that the K&K bid or the,
Well, it,
I apologize. I'm sorry, Gary.
oh, no, you're fine. This one, I'm assuming.
It's 676.
Oh, 670.
Yeah, 676, and then they're gonna get a rebate of 258.
And this is
This is to do the whole inside of the animal shelter
from Midstate.
from Midstate, as well as the 2 security bulbs on the outside. And I believe they're even rewiring they're installing bulbs in the circular fan on the outside as well. But yeah, that one's for $676. They are gonna declare the rebate of $258.
But the other two quotes, they're not doing as much work.
They're not doing nearly as much work. Because Midstate has also quoted 8-foot bulbs on the inside of the kennels for the inside of the building, where the other 2 companies were only gonna do 4-foots with conversion kits to make them 4-foots. Because they pretty much refused to do 8-foots because they said the cost between the 8-foots to the 4-foots were substantial, crazy amount. So to me, it looks like Mid-State's not really charging us much labor if the pricing of the LED bulbs are that expensive.
It doesn't seem to be, that would be logical since there's so much difference between.
There's a huge gap in pricing.
Right.
I mean, and I guess in my opinion, K&K and Bader is doing less, gonna do less work for more money. It's, if I added them up correctly.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do if you can get away with it.
Well,
I know what that's all about.
I mean, so I guess what I'm saying is why waste the time of letting them bid apples to apples if,
It appears on the surface that the Mid-State quote is gonna be mighty hard to beat. It's not
I
like-
believe so.
Not likely the other guys could do that if they were given another chance.
but the question with the Mid-State is whether we want the floods or for $10 less, or the fluorescent.
My question to them was, because I know the floodlighting is better off as far as if rain gets underneath there. My question to them was, well, if you've got 4-foot fluorescent bulbs and all you have is just a little piece of plexiglass over top of the flood, or over top of the LED beams, what happens if the rain gets up in there and it fries the fixture? Then we're out that money to replace that as well. And he agreed, but he just wanted to write it up.
So, do we want to just entertain a motion to allow Mid-State to go ahead and do it with floods, the outside of the floods?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve a contract with Mid-State Energy Savers to do LED lighting conversions at the animal shelter.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to enter into an agreement with Mid-State Energy Savers. And if you don't mind, I'm going to have Jane put these numbers in the minutes.
Sure, yeah, they should be.
$416 and $676 for the cost of that. Does that
Lock
sound
them
right?
down.
Is there any other discussion? What
I
are we paying for?
I can only testify to the effectiveness of the LED floods, because in the parking lot at the library a couple of years ago or so, we changed out all the floodlights on the parking lot up there. And our bill went down so drastically that Duke Energy called us and asked us what the problem was. And that parking lot lighting was metered separately, so when they saw that dramatic change, they thought we'd turned the lights off. So they are very cost effective, I can testify to that.
We're hoping so, and we're hoping we can get some longevity out of them as well.
See, Michael, there's sufficient funds.
There is a little over $2,000 in the building repair budget, so between the two of those, we're looking at about $1,300. So yeah, there's sufficient money to cover that.
Okay, great. Is there any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
And then I've got one more thing, if it's okay. The Humane Society has been talking to us about coming up and volunteering and helping us out at the animal shelter. One thing that we have struggled with since I've worked there is the fact that people know the old reputation of the animal shelter as being a slaughterhouse, and that is far from what we are now. And we really want to better the reputation of Fayette County. So if it's okay for the Humane Society to help us out with adoptions and just to be up there when we're not able to be there, because I'm the only one working out in animal control doing emergency calls. So they would like to come up and volunteer and just help out for free.
You want to have Debbie helping you?
Yeah. and Ralph.
Okay,
Yeah, we thought, if we could, like, take the dogs out in the dog park that's up there, let them get a little bit of freedom out of being in the kennel, kind of make them more sociable than they are now, being penned up in those kennels, 24/7. And anything, that might need help with adoptions, I could do vet checks or whatever he needed done to take the load off of him. We'd be happy to go up there 2 or 3 days a week, maybe not spend the whole day, but just go up and do whatever needs to be done that he can't get to, that maybe we can do to help him. To help move these dogs. I mean, these dogs deserve a second chance. And so we would just like to, better Fayette County, better the dogs and cats.
I certainly have no objection. I think anytime animal control can work hand in hand with the SPCA, that's fine.
Because we're in it for the same thing. We're both trying to find homes for these unwanted animals. The Humane Society doesn't have a facility. I am the only foster home. Ralph and I are basically the Humane Society, because the older people have passed away or dropped out. Young people aren't interested. We cannot get foster homes. I took another puppy from the shelter yesterday. I've taken 2 in the last 3 weeks. And it's just, we just want to better Fayette County. Let people know that we are, the Humane Society and the Animal Shelter, we are working hand in hand to find these animals homes. This is what it's all about, working together, teamwork. And Mike and I are pretty well on the same page about what needs to be done. We know we can't save every animal. Him and I both realize that. I hate to say that, but you can't. You cannot save every animal. And I think we could make a huge difference in Fayette County and the way people look at us.
You guys think we need any kind of agreement between them and
I think you do, I've been down to Franklin County's thing on their dog shelter, and you go down there, there'd be 15 people out there walking dogs around.
See, this is what we need to do. We need to get the community
It helps them.
involved. I mean, we're willing to sign a waiver. I mean, the county would not be held if I fell and broke a leg or something. I'm not gonna sue the county. I mean, that could have happened anywhere. But we've got to get the community involved, get them behind us. And maybe we can get more people like Franklin County, come up there and walk the dogs. And who's to say that person might just fall in love with that dog and want to adopt it?
I guess
you think
I'd like to see,
You think we ought to consult the county attorney and see if there's anything we need on paper on this?
I'd like to see him look into
I think
some
we
of
need
the
a
other,
waiver of liability
at the very least.
Right, and depending
We
on.
need to check with our insurance
Check with our
carrier.
insurance carrier. Would they be getting any information? Would they be looking at any records? I mean, is there any confidential information that the shelter keeps over there?
We don't keep any confidential records. I believe everything is accessible to the public for what we do.
Well, if you discover that there is, either allow them not to ever have the ability to have the access, or we need to make sure we have a document stating that as well. I think we need a waiver of liability at the very least.
Would you be able to maybe research some of these other counties and see how they're working
Sure.
with their humane societies and see what documentation, legal contracts or agreements that they have in place?
Sure.
At the very least. I'd feel more comfortable if we knew.
Well, since, these volunteers wouldn't be employees, but we still need to protect the county from any possible liability.
Right.
And I don't say that because I suspect you. But,
Thank you, Dale.
but,
I mean, that county has to look out for themselves, I understand that.
it's just the standard
And we're no
way.
spring chickens.
It's just the way you gotta do business these days.
Right, it's just the way you have to do business nowadays, yes.
Okay. All right.
I believe it's going to happen.
Give us some time to research that
absolutely.
legally and and we'll try to move forward with it as soon as possible.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys too.
We have Michelle Richardson here. On 144 request, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a 144 request to hire a new information coordinator. In my office, my previous information coordinator retired, and so I would like to hire Jared Schnitker. That's it.
Michelle, is this paid
Grant.
through
100%
the
grant funded,
Victims
yes.
Assistance Grant?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So it's
And
not
it's
a
a
shared
part-time.
employee then? It's not shared between CASA and Victims
No.
Assistance?
It's 100% paid through VOCA, and it's a part-time position.
I'll move to approve the 144 for CASA.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the 144 request for the CASA Victims Assistance Office. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anybody else? Jeff, do you have anything for us today?
I don't believe so. I've cleared up some issues, I think, with Jane, but I don't think there's anything that's for the board right now.
Okay, all right. Kay or Holly, are you here for the council, or do you have anything from the council?
Nothing from council.
Move on to mail. I received an email from Andrew Newquist. The county owns the 2 parcels of land that Railcon sits on up there. They're requesting to take ownership of those parcels, as we've done with some of those other parcels. Mark, we did a couple last year. They do have to be passed through 501, 3C, or C3 organization. My suggestion would be that we pass these through EDG like we've done the others in the past. It will get these parcels back on the tax rolls as well. I told him I'd present it to the board and see what the board wanted to do.
What do you need, a motion to turn it over to RDG? Take care of it?
If we decide that it's okay and we're willing to do this, then I'm just going to advise them that through their own legal counsel.
I believe we need to turn them over because it does get the money back on the tax rolls. And besides that, it helps the company with them being able to borrow money.
Right.
Will this have any effect on the negotiations that's going on between Railcon, EDG, and SAPA?
I don't know if those conversations are still going on.
If you turn it over to EG, they're gonna work anything like that out.
Well, I would hope so.
I mean, I don't know what the answer to that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything lately. I don't know if anything's still going on about that.
But I know, like, the Taylor property, that's being worked through. Gary Smith, his attorney, is taking care of all of it. And my request would be that all costs incurred incurred in this process would be up to them to take care of all costs.
We've done the same thing with the Keener facility up there.
I believe it was the Keener facility, and George Taylor's facility
Yeah.
is in the process of being done, I think. I'm not sure that it's complete yet, the way Dan talked, he said that he hadn't seen the paperwork yet, so.
The way this reads, there is some council involvement in this too. I remember.
No, there's not. He's referring to us as council.
Well,
It's all commissioners.
I'll move, turn it over to the EG and let them take care of it, and they can, any costs they'll take care of, and all will be with the approval of our board.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded that we move forward with this and let the EDG office handle the paperwork and the proper shuffling of it. Is there any other questions or comments
Don't forget the approval of our board.
through the approval of our attorney? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. And then I received this, one of the properties that was in the commissioner's tax sale, or commissioner's deed sale, that's the right term, that did not sell in our sale, so it will remain in the ownership of the commissioners. I received a letter of a violation notice from the city of Connersville on 527 West 7th Street. I don't know how we want to handle that. Our internal departments don't have time to take care of property management.
I saw this a while back.
March 7th?
523 West 7th Street. It's up on,
I'm assuming they're talking about boarding the windows.
yeah, it's up on top of the hill.
But I guess I still have a question, Jane. Maybe you've answered it for me, but I can't remember. These properties that we own now and didn't go through the original commissioner's deed sale, are we free to list those and sell them at any given time now?
I don't believe so. I believe they can only be sold at public auction.
Okay.
We can
'Cause
give
I
them-
would've-
We can give them away if somebody wants them, like a
Well,
nonprofit.
I would have thought that if they're becoming our property, it wouldn't be any different than any other property that we own. But so I don't know if one of you want to do some checking on that. See exactly what they want to do, what they want us to, what they're wanting us to do.
Well, we're in violation of ordinance number 98, the city code on nuisances of the city of Connersville, Indiana. So I think an inspection of the property is certainly in order, and try to figure out just what we do need to do to.
Right.
We're not setting a very good example as property owners up there to be in violation of the city's nuisance ordinances, I wouldn't think. So we may wind up having to just tear the thing down.
Well, and we may want to work through their blight grants or whatever it is to
Yes.
get the property raised.
As soon as I can, I'd be willing to go up and
Okay.
take a look at it. I looked at all those properties along with the auditor early in the spring before we had the sale, and verified that they, whether or not they had houses on them or whether they were empty lots and such. In my mind, I can't remember what that particular address looked like.
I looked at a lot of them, but I can't
Yeah.
picture it in my mind what it is.
There's something like 43 on that list. but I know the neighborhood, I know where it's at.
All right, well, I appreciate it if you have the, can take the time to look at that and see what you think needs to be done.
All right.
Jane, do you want this officially entered into the minutes, or is the treasurer's report? Do you want this monthly treasurer report for the month of June, I believe, entered into the records, so that it'll be in our minutes? Is there any other mail that we need to bring? Seeing none, is there any old business that probably maybe your 565 West conversation? Mike's here for that purpose, I think, aren't you, Mike?
Pardon?
Aren't you here for the purpose of the 565 West
Yes, sir.
conversation? And it is part of the old business.
Mike and I talked yesterday, and he's provided some information about that area that I didn't know, and I think will be useful. I shouldn't speak for him. Probably I'll let him speak for himself. But he uses, or used to use that road on a regular basis.
There's quite a few of us use that road on a regular basis. Gary used to constantly also. Any night of the week, about 5 o'clock, except for Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, all three of you, any one of you are more than welcome to come out. We'll go over there and we'll walk to a piece of that road. We'll take a look at it. That road is not sliding to the creek. That road is going straight down. Now, only about 2/3 of it's going straight down. I can't right now come up with the man's name that we talked about yesterday, but he works for Steve Lane Excavating. He worked on that road when Crane out of Greensburg originally did it 25, 30 years ago. They're the ones that put the tile under the road. They also let that tile come out into the creek. The end of that tile has plugged up 2 or 3 times. I told Dale yesterday I had to take half of a saw and cut the end of the pipe out there to get the lime out of it so the water could run out of it. Now that piece has completely fallen off, but it's still laying there where it's away from the creek unless the water's up, let's put it that way. But I still think, anybody knows anything about that road, the corner of Henry Powell's yard, where you went north up that road, made that right-hand turn to go past the cemetery. That corner of that yard, I've mowed that several times after Henry's left with my tractor and chopper. I always liked Henry and Road. That, I guess I didn't like them enough to go up there with a lawnmower, but I kept the property up and made it look halfway decent. That corner of that yard was always wet. I'm not so sure that that's not your culprit right there. I'm not so sure that that spring that lays in the corner of that yard, or the road that dams that spring in the corner of that yard, isn't what's causing that water to move south under that road. And where it comes out at, I don't have a clue. But that even when the road's dry, that yard's wet right there. Again, if you'll give me a little notice when you want to be out there, I'll stop what I'm doing some evening. We'll go take a good big long walk and I'll show you everything I know about it. And between now and then, I will have the man's name and maybe even try to get him to be there.
Well, Mike, when we rebuilt that the first time, dug it out and redid it, I thought that Butler Fairman had worked with us to engineer that, but I later found out that it was through the NRCS.
I
that
saw
helped
it in our
design
city.
that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And that was probably close to 20 years ago, because I was commissioner then when we did it the first time. Then it was dug up the second time.
No, that was the second time. The first time was before you. The first time,
And then it was
Can
longer
you-
than
can you-
25 years ago, because
yeah. I hauled a kid on the school bus that couldn't talk real well. Anytime he said anything, it was always Dutter Day, so I'm gonna call it Dutter Day. The first time was, John Deere dozers, the 750s, 850s were brand new pieces of equipment that year, because they had I'm fairly sure if I remember correctly, they had an 850 John Deere dozer back there working. And it was swimming it. So we're talking about 30 plus, I'm gonna have to say now, instead of 25 or 30. The second time it was done, the county came out, dug down fairly deep. I remember right, Jerry Goldman said you can't go any deeper because you're going to get into tile. They put a lot of stone underneath that road, they brought it back up to size, they paved over the top of it, and it was good for, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years, and it began to slip again.
yeah.
This last time, the county came out early spring, somewhere along in there, put 2 tractor loads of hot mix on top of it. And basically what that did was make it sink quicker. The weight of the hot mix literally pushed it down faster. Dale and I talked. In my mind, there's 2 possibilities. When the water comes up out there, we get sand everywhere. That road is either compacted on top of sand that's being washed out someplace, or there may be one of the best Fayette County public attractions around. God, there may be a cave underneath of it. I have, several times, I have offered, at the end of that road, turn right, the first gate on the right, there is a fairly good sized windrow of broken cement. If the county wants to use that to try to shore that road up, you're more than welcome to it. Dale and I talked about the possibility of the county purchasing Henry's property there. To reiterate on what Dale and I talked about, I think before I did that, I'd take a post hole back here at Postal Digger, and I believe I'd dig some holes. If you go down 4 or 5 feet, you hit water, there's no need to buy in this type of place. If you can go back in there behind where his old house trailer was, bring that road up and make a long arch in there, and you'd have to have part of Edgecombs and part of Kings to be able to make that big of a sweep. But if you get back in there and you dig in, you just find dirt, you may be in business. Where I live, just east of my house, right at the back of my yard, there is a whale of a hole in the ground. When you go past my driveway going west, to the left, right there is another big hole in the ground. Come back up in my yard, and about halfway down my yard, there's another place in there where there's obviously been something taken out. And from what I can find out, when the Iron Bridge was built, which puts it back years ago, when the Iron Bridge was built, the county went out there, dug those 3 holes, took gravel out to use down there at the bridge. The only reason I'm bringing that up is that all 3 of those holes are sitting on high ground. if the gravel's there, I'll about guarantee you it's underneath that road. Still in the beginnings, too. I didn't rally the troops today, but there's a whole crowd of people out there who sure like to see that road taken care of. I'm not gonna put 5,000 emails on you to force you to do something. I'm just requesting you take a good look at it and see what we can, if we can do anything to take care of that.
Well, Mike, I for one, and I'm sure I'm speaking for the whole board, we sure don't want to see that road closed on a permanent basis. We got an expensive bridge sitting there
Exactly.
that would go to nowhere.
Exactly. Edgecombe and I would be, and the only reason I would be if you're gonna do that, take that damn bridge out so I don't have to run that floodgate over there underneath.
But the thing of it is, it seems like in my time, we've done 2 drastic measures and it hasn't worked.
You know,
And-
Gary, I'll back up here a little bit and I'll tell you how terrible I was at about 16 or 17 years old. That road was gravel forever. Frisch's Restaurant was open at the time. Now, everybody in this room
That was
probably.
a long time ago.
Yeah, I knew somebody that said that. There was a whole crowd of younger, less intelligent individuals, and I was one of them, that we would road race from 300 North down through all the crook, all the way down the Frisch's Road, then we rode it on time. That road probably saw some of the quickest old cars you ever saw in your life come around that corner and stand on it going down that road. As long as that road was gravel, it never caused a problem. After it was blacktop, I'm not real keen on gravel roads because I want to keep the truck clean, but the other side of the coin, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But from the time I started driving 50-some years ago, that road's only been a problem since it's been paved. Now, what that's got to do with anything, I don't know. We've had,
Could be just the times changing.
well, you say
More
that,
water, more, you know.
But you know, Gary, if you go back even 15 years ago, everybody talked about the water table's so low, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, this is agriculture. It's feast or famine. I mean, it's the same thing. What we do today works, and they didn't even have a clue that tomorrow. So.
I think we all agree that it's water and moisture that's causing the problem, but it's where it's coming from and where do we reroute it to solve that problem? That's the question.
I'm real curious. And the trouble in boring post holes is that a post hole digger's gonna go bore 4 or 5 feet deep. I'd be really curious to go out there and corner the yard and sink a hole. And if that yard's as wet as it is, I'd be tempted to go underneath that road, put tile into that thing, and try to get
Try to tile that corner away.
that water out of that corner down over the hill.
Well, it's either that or develop that spring and redirect it.
Exactly.
One of the two. Do you know whether that well on Henry's place is drilled or
You
is
know,
it a?
The interesting part about it, they have trouble with that well back there constantly. mean,
Well, I thought they did.
Yeah,
But,
there
Okay.
was probably the littlest amount of water in that well all the time. Henry Rose lived there in their 80s, and I don't think either one of those two used over a half gallon of water a day.
Mhm.
I mean,
yeah.
even if nothing else, just take the county hole out there, and of course, you're gonna have to get permission, but go out there and just dip a hole in that corner right there and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting, because I didn't realize, because I had never gotten off of the roadway and onto private property, but I'd never realized that that was that wet in that corner. I knew it was wet, but not,
I told Dale yesterday, if you go, there's 2 piles of dirt. If you go to the south pile of dirt that's got the road blocked, and you go down over the bank, there is a sycamore tree that stands right beside Williams Creek. To the left of that sycamore tree is where the ground is movable. There is a sycamore root, I'd say 5, 6 inches in diameter right there, that had literally been pulled in two. Because the sycamore tree is higher than the ground beside it.
mhm,
It's not slipping west, it's going straight down.
yeah. Well, and that's what I always, I've told Jay in the past, I can't figure out where it's going, because it's not going west. It's not
Dale-
moving west.
Dale asked about, if you look at the bank, you down, and the bank does that and goes back down hard. And it goes down towards that right of way. Well, that's not slip. That was done, I used to mow that whole bank in there.
Mhm.
And I could mow the whole thing. When the county did it the last time, they made that levee, or whatever you want to call it there, to where that road, you come off the road, you go down a little ways, and it
Come
makes
back
a-
out. It's a landing,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, if it was gonna move, you'd see that move. You'd see that
That-
fence at the bottom of that move.
That would have been in the creek by now.
Yeah, oh yeah. For all the ground that's had to have moved in there in that period of time.
Yeah.
I don't, Franklin County puts up with this kind of crap all the time. I don't, maybe talk to somebody in Franklin County, see what the hell they do.
Well, I think there's a full agreement, Mike, that we, if all possible, we don't plan on keeping the road closed, but we're just trying to figure out what to do it right.
I guess I'm here asking you to think about it a little quicker.
I understand. But it is county government.
I understand. And again, any night of the week, about 5 o'clock, except Fridays, weekends, give me a call, let me know you're coming. I'll have Leon there. Might even try to get the guy that works for Steve over there, get as much information on that I can give you.
Okay. All right. Anything else for Mike? Questions for Mike, or?
Mike certainly has my sympathy, and I've been out there a number of times and trying to figure this thing out. So-
There is no good way around it.
No, there's not a simple solution.
From where I live, it's like a major hemorrhoid.
Well, I'm
No,
gonna-
the Kale Road's the next,
Pardon?
the Kale Road's the next road west, or to
And
go
you gotta
north, or
You gotta go to 750, or you gotta go to 400.
400.
And pickup truck, part of my complaint is that we bought that from up north. But that's a whole lot closer up that road than the way we have to do it now.
Mhm.
Take a tractor and head north, you might as well take your lunch.
Or you can stop at the house and eat. You can stop at the house and eat on the
Yeah,
way by.
okay.
Okay, all right. Now, we'll continue to work on it. Maybe we can figure out something quicker.
And the county surveyor is currently looking at property lines and such in this effort to try to figure out if we need more ground, or not, whether we, and where we would have to get it, so.
It sure would be great if just digging down and solving that wet spot in the corner of the yard would solve that whole problem. But
I won't guarantee it solves the whole problem, but I can tell you I mowed that yard in August and September when everything was drier than dirt, and
It was still wet.
Had to stay back away from it because it was soft.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll move on to new business. We have Josh and Brad here for FOP foot pursuit.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So we're tentatively trying to schedule October 5th. It's a Saturday for our FOP 5K this year. Would like to shut down Ziegler and Veterans Memorial again between 7 and 11. Veterans will be open for soccer traffic.
Did you say Veterans Memorial and
Ziegler.
Ziegler Road?
Yes, sir.
Okay, be from State Road 1 clear to Gray Road.
Yes.
Seven to 11 a.m.
Yes, sir.
October 5th.
Refresh my memory, did we furnish you sign?
It's the same route as last year. We had road closure signs as well out with safety personnel out there to assist with that.
Okay. And did you get those from the county or did the city?
I
furnish
believe
them?
they came from the city, but
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Is there any other questions, reference to it?
I'll go along with it as long as they don't ask me to run that route.
We'll give you a free entry if you do, sir.
You're the one that's going to chase.
I ain't gonna do it.
You can walk it too.
My running days are over.
Well, it kind of depends on who's chasing you though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, give me a whole day I can walk it.
Okay. Is there a motion to
I'll
allow?
move to approve them shutting that down from 7 to 11 on the Memorial and Ziegler Road.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to allow the FOP to utilize veterans in Ziegler from 7 to 11 a.m. on October 5th. And those roads be closed during that time period. Is there any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Thank you
Gotta
very
have
much.
fun.
Good luck with it.
I hope it's cool that day.
Diana? You have some things on the transportation? Or the transit service, don't you?
I do, I'm just here for the quarterly claim, and to give you an update on how the transit, public transit did this quarter. We will be drawing down $53,383 from the federal government, $31,787 from the state. Our local match this period is $21,596. We had 8,386 passenger boardings this quarter. That's a lot of usage. And I just need permission for Gary to sign the claim so we can send that into the state and federal government to get reimbursed.
Okay, hey, technically, what do you need, approval of your quarterly report?
Part of our grant agreement is to come each quarter and give a report, and it also requires the commissioner president's signature on the quarterly report. I emailed you the report, it was that first page.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
I read it, I just didn't print off a
That's
paper
fine.
copy of it.
I'll move to have the president sign the report.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve the signature of the quarterly report. Is there any other questions for Diana? All in favor?
Aye.
3
Aye.
ayes. Any color?
I've got
Or
one
do you
printed
have
out, and I've got a blue ink pen for you. And Dot always wants blue.
I thought so. Just right here on the yellow.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Yep.
See you, Mike.
See you, Mike. Is that all you need, Diana?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it says Daniel Walker, but it's actually Anna Duncan is here.
Okay. Anna, you have something on comprehensive plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is from Daniel Walker, and he had sent a request through Jane to update the data for, and then we wanted to ask that through the GIS mapping. And so he had sent an agreement, and then for each of you guys to sign that, and then each part of what we need for the GIS to look at that. This would all be used for the comprehensive plan, instead of having to pay for it again, so it'd be a cost savings. And we're also asking the city for the GIS, and this will all be used to further the concept.
We've done these before. Bill, you got any?
Just here if you had any questions about how this works within the comprehensive plan. Because this is usually the most expensive part, the longest part of preparing any comprehensive plan is this part that's up front. Whereas this is the collection of the data, and the GIS is a very important part of it. So since this is all being gathered now, this will save a lot of money and a lot of time. Then when we do the analysis of the comprehensive plan, when it goes out for a bid, a consultant to help us finish the project, it'll save a lot of time and a lot of money. And so this way, the data's all gathered, and then I assume that the agreement will also let us then pass the data on to the consultant.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the limited use agreement between, on the GIS.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded that we allow the limited use agreement with our GIS provider. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll send you a copy of that, but I'll also forward it to
Dana. Okay.
Yeah.
Also wanted to let you know that we are moving ahead, and many of the groups are already meeting and reviewing the comprehensive plan. We have a pretty quick schedule to go through all of that. So as you guys look at the upcoming budget for the county, I'd like to put in a plug that money is set aside for a new comprehensive plan.
Do you have dollars in mind?
I get you some.
Yeah,
Okay.
some idea.
Okay.
What we're looking at.
I can definitely do that. Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
we know just the review of the information, as much work Purdue has already done in the community with the extension office and community voices and the foundation. We're thinking it'll be half the savings.
You're into a big project, so I don't have to tell you that now, do I?
No, I appreciate all the volunteers that have stepped up to read it, and Diana's going over a tremendous amount of information. So, thank you guys.
Thank you, Anna. I
I'll do
appreciate
that.
it.
I'll just send it to Jane.
All right. I'm passing down that agreement for our signatures so that we can get that out of the way. And then we have Megan and Becky here with the Farmers Market.
Hello, my name's Megan. I'm the new marketing manager for the Fayette County Farmers Market. I'm here to seek approval to use the courthouse parking lot on Thursday evenings for an evening market from 5 to 8 p.m. Starting August 1st.
You expect that to run throughout until frost?
Through September, so about 8-9 weeks.
we still have the Saturday morning. We're just trying to do something a little different. We're trying to get more people to come downtown. We're trying to look at our vendors and producers are kind of torn between some other bigger farmers markets on Saturday mornings. So we were just trying to experiment with
expanding the market.
and hopefully growing it, so.
Okay, I received an email from our assessor's office this morning, and his concern with this, he saw your presentation to the city asking, he's concerned about our offices that are open on Thursdays, especially the Peterborough board starts meeting in August. He said that they may run into 5 or after. He was concerned about having petitioners that are coming before them have to go out, move their vehicles or whatever. So how can we continue to accommodate parking for courthouse use?
I mean, there's a lot of parking. We now set up more on Central in kind of a rectangle, really more on
Okay.
the city side, really. And so now our customers, before I know we used to block off the whole, this main courthouse.
And I think
park.
Jeff's concerned about
And
that.
we've done away with that, because there's so many seniors, we just didn't want them walking that far. They used to just park over here by the railroad station. So people are still able to park right up close to the vendors.
Using
We maybe
handicap
use a
parking.
quarter of the
Yes.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I guess,
Would they need signage to point the people that want to use the courthouse a different way?
I guess I'm concerned about, I don't think the way Jeff's email reads, that come 5 o'clock, there will be any more people coming in. It's, those
People who
meetings
are
be, they may be already parked there. So I guess that's, I don't want them to have to be asked to come out and move their cars and then come back into a meeting. So that's.
Right.
Right.
So would we be able to just block off that area all Thursday, just that quarter of the parking lot that we use?
As
And
long as you can let them other people out if they're in there.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about starting at 5, so I know.
Yeah.
I don't see it being a big deal as long
Right.
as
And we'd
it's
be
marked for those
respectful,
people that come in for 5 o'clock appointments or 4. I think
Because we
Jeff
actually
said 4
have,
o'clock appointment
the
was.
police chief, we actually have signage out there, I don't know if you realize that or not. So anything parked after 6 a.m. on Saturday can be towed.
Mhm.
So we do, I know the chief of police, we've done that really this is the 4th year, so.
His email to me says that usually our proceedings are over by 4 p.m.
Okay.
However, the last hearing can go over the scheduled time. And his concern was
Are
that
you afraid they can't get out?
he
I think he's afraid if they were parked like here and that's where you set up, that you're gonna expect them to go
no.
move
Oh, yeah.
the cars, I think is more
is,
his concern.
I think his concern is he doesn't want those people to have to be asked to, hey, can you go move your car
Right.
so the farmer's market can set up
Right.
and then come back in and finish your
Right,
meeting,
right.
is what
Right,
I think
yeah.
he's concerned with. So,
And we've worked around with parked cars before, they might just have to be in the middle of the
Yeah.
of the market. It might be next to.
Or maybe if you could explain to him exactly where you're gonna set up, he
Yes.
can kind of warn the people when he's
Yes, we could do a diagram.
Yeah.
That's what we've
Like
done
when he's
before.
setting
you
hearings,
go-
just be like, don't, try to avoid this area.
Yes, and we don't want to interfere with any business of the courthouse.
Because I just
And-
got two
and-
for my office.
and maybe if
Oh.
you could.
I just
was gonna
noticed that
create
the
some kind
parking
of
lot isn't
diagram
very
that we
full
could
on Thursdays.
Email everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're saying there's several offices that are closed on Thursday afternoons, but there are
Yes.
several that still work. And
Right.
so, yeah, for like my employees or the treasurer, the
Right.
assessor, the recorder,
Right.
those offices, we'd want to tell them to park somewhere else.
Right, and we've kind of observed the parking lot, I've noticed Thursdays is lighter in
Yes,
parking.
it
And
is.
so that was one reason too, when we were
Pick
discussing.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
another reason.
So, I think we've worked through all that. Is there any other?
If there's gonna be any problems, you'll notice it by your first or second Thursday.
We will,
so
we
you'll
will.
work
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah, and like I said, we've worked really, this is our 4th year, so we've kind of we kind of understand and we're willing to work
Yes.
with either side, so.
You've been very good with it, and you've grown it
Well, thank you, we
into
appreciate it.
something
We
very
worked hard.
great.
I'm really excited, like I said, this is the first year we actually got a grant to actually hire Megan Phillips. She is our market manager. She has a business degree in marketing and business, so she's really doing a lot of different social media and broadening our viewers, and so that's what we're trying to bring more people downtown. So that's what we're wanting to
That's the
eventually-
goal.
That's our goal, and that's why Thursday night, we thought maybe we'd get more working families, we might have some live music, food trucks, just trying to get people to come back downtown. So that's why we're gonna try this, so we don't know if it works, so we're gonna try it.
If you don't try it, you
That's right, how
don't
we gonna know, that's
Yeah.
how we're gonna know, so, yeah, so that's what we were asking the blessing for.
Yep, can't never tried.
I would entertain a motion to allow them to hold this on Thursday evenings.
I'll move to approve Thursday evening use of the parking lot for farmer's market. 5
Five-
PM,
on.
5 PM to,
Oh,
Whenever.
5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
5 to 8.
5 to
8.
8. Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to allow the farmer's market to expand into Thursday evenings from 5 to 8. Is there any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 yes.
Right,
Thank you.
and we did have one more thing.
Okay.
One of our vendors, New Heights Church, they provide activities for kids at the market, and they had asked about doing a slip and slide one Saturday, August 3rd. I didn't know if we would be able to get access to water from the hydrants, and if we would be able to use the grassy area for that.
that part belongs to the city.
I didn't know about this till after the
The
meeting
grass-
yesterday,
Which
so.
grassy area?
How about the grass under the counter?
Anything over 12 feet past that sidewalk out there.
Well, there isn't any
We were
grassy
talking
area
out
out there.
front, out front.
But I'm
Grass
wondering,
out front.
Out
yeah,
front,
you're talking
yeah, out
about,
front.
Oh, you're talking about?
Yes, out front, on
Central.
Central.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's ours.
You wanna guys come?
I was,
where's that liability come in?
So we would
I like
have
the
a
fact that it was the
waiver,
city
vendor.
we would have a
Yeah.
waiver.
Yeah, so parent or guardian would have to sign a waiver in order to let their child participate.
And the farmer's market would pay any increase in water for that day. They were wanting to do as a community outreach.
I'm not concerned
so-
about the water as much as I am the liability of it.
I like the idea better when he said it was on the city.
On the city.
Oh, no, we gotta go back to the city. So we
Yeah, I mean,
went,
we definitely need a waiver. We need a liability waiver. I mean, we
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have one.
I can get one.
Well, why don't you do this? Why don't you forward it to me if that's okay with commissioners? I'll review it.
Okay.
If I don't like it, I'll make changes to it.
okay, that's
And
great.
then, when is this needed by?
August 3rd is when they're wanting to do the slip and
Mm.
slide. So that's what, 3 weeks?
is the slip and slide and only a one-time event?
Yes,
Yes,
one time.
Yeah.
We could approve it pending the approval of our attorney, and then he could do the paperwork and get it done without another meeting.
Yeah, because our next meeting is not until
Yes.
August 6th.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that would be in order. And then if Jeff is not able to protect us from any liability by them,
We'll make a
But-
call over here and Stan's order on it.
yeah.
It
Well,
won't
you
have to
guys
be-
can come and
But
do the
they'll have
slip
to,
and slide.
Becky will have to coordinate that with Bill as well for water, access to water.
Yeah.
And it won't take a whole lot of language, just a simple waiver
Yeah.
with parent signature and,
I was gonna say, let's don't make it 6 pages long.
no, just.
Right.
Just have a line for them to put their child's name in, then be able to sign it at the bottom and
Right.
sign legalese.
Don't tell me these things.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to that effect.
I'll second.
There's a motion made and seconded that we approve the kids' water slide activity pending the approval of our attorney and all legal issues. Is there any other questions or debate? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you. We
Becky,
hope to
can
see you out there.
Can you coordinate that with Bill Gray as far as
Yes.
water usage?
Yes, yes.
And
Yeah.
so he can accommodate your needs?
Yeah. Okay, We appreciate that. So
You better
hopefully-
give him plenty of notice.
I will. Maybe he'll bring the swimming trunks and
Yeah,
drinks.
maybe so.
Okay.
Thank you
Got the
so much.
information,
We
so-
appreciate it.
All right,
We appreciate
great.
it.
Thank you.
Uh,
All right. Next item of business, under new business, our needle exchange program renewal or termination is, correct me if I'm wrong, James, coming up August 13th.
I believe so.
So we need to, not necessarily today, but we need to be making a decision by our next meeting at least, of where we're going to go with this. I spent yesterday afternoon on the phone with a few people. I talked with Dr. White, and I think he and I are on the same page. Neither one of us see a need to terminate the program. However, his concern and my concern as well was the fact that we, with Fayette Regional no longer being in business, we do not have a group or an organization to manage it, the program, and he is somewhat reluctant to continue it without such a group or entity. I talked with Erica from the state health department. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she has worked, her office has worked with several counties with this same problem over time, and she is more than happy to come down and kind of help us work through this. She did state yesterday that we could go ahead and apply for the renewal, but like we did with when the health department dropped it and the Fayette Regional picked it up, we pretty well suspended services until that point in time. She said that we could do the same thing this time, and suspend the service until we felt comfortable with an organization to take it over. Or we could terminate it, and at the time that we find an organization, we could go through the whole process of applying again, and she said that would be a great time-consuming effort on our part if
The
we
one
had
way
to
is
start
we
over.
can go ahead and take it, but not use it until we
Find an organization to, now Kay, you had said that you had an organization. You can do whatever you'd like.
Come on. Well, I would like to talk to him right here. Well, we're working on a couple options, hoping that Reed could step in place,
They've already said no.
for sure.
Our last correspondence with them over the weekend was no.
Okay. Our agency that employs us, we're in a prevention, World Family Services and Prevention Programs. They said all else fails that we would be willing to.
And this is who?
Our Family Services and Prevention Programs.
Family Services.
Our employer.
And it's not a first choice, but if it's not gonna happen, we don't want it to go away. We're glad to figure out what we need to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
Services and Prevention
Programs.
Services.
Prevention-
Programs.
Yeah, prevention programs. It's actually, yeah. It's very complicated, yeah.
Well, and that's, I guess that's the reason I wanted to write that down, because I wanted to.
We are known locally as communities that care. We are an organization that survives off of federal grants or off of state grants. And a grant that we were received several years ago was Communities That Care. We kept that name. The agency that really truly writes our checks is Family Services and Prevention Programs. So like if you
And
ask
this is a
locally.
federal,
This
is a federal group or?
Yes, federal and state.
Or
Whatever,
private.
whoever will give, you want to give us money? Like whomever, we basically do prevention programs based on grants. With a long-standing history. When I say that, I mean over
So
20 plus years.
I guess, Holly, what I'm trying to get at, the corporate headquarters is here?
It's in Shelbyville.
It's a local?
It's Shelbyville.
Shelbyville?
We work out of the Haven.
And it's a
They work in multiple counties, actually.
503 or 501?
Yeah, we're nonprofit. Yeah, we're a 501c3. Yes.
501(c)(3).
Yeah, we're nonprofits. They do a variety of services. We fall, like Kay and I do prevention education here in Fayette County.
Mhm.
Public health. We're really, the stigma grant that Charmin presented, that's through us. In Shelby, you would know more for Healthy Families. And Newcastle. They're in Johnson County as well.
So if the needle exchange program went with this organization, would it be employees of this organization that
It'd be Charmin,
distribute it?
probably. It'd be
Or
Charmin.
would it be volunteers?
It depends. We believe that for approximately $3,000 a year, we could employ somebody for those. It's only a few hours
Right.
a week. It's not a lot. And we currently have some money set aside that we could use for that purpose. It's like 6 hours a week. Right? Yeah, 6 hours a
And
week.
are you going to use the Haven to distribute?
Well, I would prefer not to.
Well, I would too.
I would prefer not to, and I have said that very publicly within our realm. Our office, our office works out of the Haven. The Haven is a separate nonprofit, and I don't want to. We do a lot of youth ministry, and I feel as though my donors would not understand. While I am very supportive of the needle exchange. I mean, I had a conversation with Jane just the other day, a perfect example of why we need the needle exchange. I worked at the high school, and one young man, 18 years old, 3 days or so after he turned 18, was arrested for heroin. He was using IV heroin, and within 10 days, I had 5 girls tell me that they could be pregnant by him. So if you put that in mind, if he's using, if he's having unprotected sex with 5 high school girls, one was 14, what would one HIV case look like in our high school?
And as I've told Kay,
So I'm.
that is not my question.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
logistics
I'm
of
not
how to do
questioning
it.
that. My questioning is managing the program.
Yeah.
And the horror stories that I heard before it went to Fayette Regional, I don't want to hear those stories again. And so that's why I'm so concerned. That's why I was so much in favor of it going to the hospital, because I knew it was going to be a structured system. And Katrina provided very good records for us and very good data. And I don't want that to fall through the cracks if we continue it.
I feel like standing here, I am like 3 people. As an elected person, obviously, I think it's essential that we do this in our community. I don't necessarily want to do it out of the Haven. However, the nonprofit that we are paid for, like that keeps my electric on, they have a long-standing history. And if Sarah Rathburn says that we can do this and that we have the permission to do it, she'll do it with integrity. The location, it may mean that we have to hit that pause button until we figure out how or where from where it happens. I believe that we have commitment from Charmin. However, very part-time positions,
So
you know how quickly they shift, and so
yeah.
I mean,
Family Services and Prevention Program, do you have a contact number that I can contact to verify?
yeah, absolutely. You are welcome. There's a hierarchy. I would start with Sarah Rathburn. She is often actually in New Haven right now working We have a youth camp the next 2 days.
She's local,
No.
correct?
She's not, but she's here 3 days a week. 2 or 3
Oh,
days
she's
a
not
week.
part of the Rathburn
Yeah.
family.
Yeah,
Yes,
she is.
She is.
She graduated from Carnesville High School. She
John
just lives in
Rathburn's
Johnson
father?
County now.
Daughter
Yeah.
of John's, yeah.
Right.
I thought she was.
Yeah, and if she says that we will do this, it'll be done with integrity, and she's got
Yes.
a long-standing history. Like, I mean, there's a long-standing history of excellent reputation.
Okay.
I know that,
You can give me that number, or
yeah, I
contact
won't, that way we're
later.
not on camera giving away.
Okay.
I was thinking about forwarding it to you via text.
That's fine,
Yeah.
yeah, but not in public. You guys have any other potential solutions or ideas or?
My question to these two would be, since Erica Chapman from the Indiana State Board of Health has offered to come in and assist on this, would you view that offer of help useful?
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
We work with her. We work with
Okay,
her.
all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
actually, I feel like.
And she told me she'd be more than willing, happy to come down,
Is
work
she-
with us, answer any questions.
We can also bring in our IU people that are tied. There's grant funding or setting there that we kind of had tied with Fayette Memorial Hospital. So, and there's another potential grant coming down the pipeline.
And what's those grants doing?
So actually, Sarah, I mean, Kay is truly the brainchild of it. I tend to be a mouth. There's a grant that is, from what I understand, a community awareness or understanding of a needle exchange, like that's geared towards building community buy-in. And so we are very involved with the Drug Coalition, another little group called the Systems of Care. It's statewide. And because we already come together collectively every month, this was an opportunity for us to build another coalition that supports the needle exchange because of the value that it has for each community that's a part of. I mean, they have unprecedented data that shows that this is a good thing. And so.
Please don't think that I'm questioning the value of it. I'm
No.
not
So
that.
they wrote this grant,
My concern is the liability
the logistics of it.
and the logistics.
Yeah, so a grant was written when we felt like it was stable, not us. We were just basically contracted to bring community players to the table. So essentially, Fayette County had a needle exchange that, didn't have an end date specifically because Fayette Regional was doing it. A year ago, that's how grant worlds work. A grant was written in order to promote the needle exchange in a positive light and help promote it throughout the community. And then we were kind of contracted to be the people to bring those people to the table. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And so the lady that you're speaking with, we've been doing webinars with and having conversations like, I'm not so certain that our health department would want it back. What's gonna happen if? So we've had conversations the last 2 months with her, correct? Sorry, you're the.
No, you're fine. So there's an existing grant, and then there's another big grant coming down the pipelines.
That could potentially help fund
And that funding.
somebody to run it, more specifically like a person to actually do the interaction with clients.
But Sarah has told us that,
Worst case scenario, we'll do it.
yeah.
Like, you may just have to hit the pause button. Like what, in your options of letting it go and having to start from ground zero to restart it, or go ahead and do the paperwork and hit a pause button and say, we're not ready to run, but we will run soon. We're willing to be that stand-in person. Persons. Our team now consists of 4, Charmin Gabbard, Sarah Rathburn, Kay and I, and we fall under the umbrella of Family Services and Prevention Programs that has lots of employees, like, I have no idea, 20 or 30.
But not family services.
Not that, it's a
And
different,
That's a different,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
yeah, we're not the ones that show up and make sure you're not abusing your children. It's not us.
Well, that's not all they do, but.
I know, yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm more than happy to get back with Erica. I'm more than happy to set another special meeting that we just discuss this, when Erica can come. I'm more than happy to wait till the 6th and ask Erica to be here but we have so much going on in our regular meetings, I thought maybe it might make more sense to have a special meeting just specifically to talk about this, but it's whatever you guys want to do.
I myself, if it's a good program and has a lot of value, I think we'll go ahead and accept it and put it on pause. That way we don't have to start from square one again.
And I don't disagree with
We
that,
can
but
always part back up at whenever.
Getting that funding is a big deal, but keeping it is not as hard, it's not as, from what I understand, is not as much of a,
say that again, I'm sorry.
so getting that funding originally is a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
Keeping it is not a lot of work.
But we don't want it to lapse.
But we definitely don't want it to lapse if you want our unsolicited advice. But not as these people, but as public health people. Because that's essentially what we are.
Yeah, well, if you saw my emails earlier in the week, I reached out to our local Board of Health for
Support.
a recommendation on this, and then since then we've gotten quite a bit of information to come in. Truthfully, the more data I see, the more confused I get. But it's the administration and the physical logistics of it, for obvious reasons, is a concern that we haven't had before. So if we think we can have all that stuff arranged, we've got. You think we've got time to do all that before the expiration date?
Paperwork, I don't know about as much.
Erica told me that if we waited till the 6th of August, our regular meeting, to make the final decision, that was ample amount of time to get the paperwork through. Because I asked her, I said, do we need to meet ahead of our next commissioners meeting? And she said, no, you wouldn't have to if you didn't want to. But that's why I suggested that we advertise a special meeting before that, or right soon before that, or whatever, so that we can just discuss this with Erica, and maybe she can help answer some more of the questions, and it'll give us some more time to research any potential other entities that might be willing to take hold of it.
But if she's willing to come down, why don't we just get her to agree to a date, and then, we only have to give 48 hours notice,
Right, yeah.
and set a date where we can,
I'll be more than happy to set that up.
us and representatives from the
Hopefully I could get
local
Dr.
health
White.
department, yeah, we'll
Dr.
get
White
Dr.
here.
White here, get everybody in the same room on the same page and settle this thing before August the 6th.
And I believe that we also have some other people that would be interested in just coming in, they're open meetings anyway, that would have good information to add.
Yeah.
I feel like a puppet in this situation personally. I know what I've heard a lot about, and I've been a part of lots of webinars. And I think I have an understanding, but I'm not, they would be the best, the people we're talking about.
I know it was kind of funny. I mentioned to Erica, I said, what concerns me is I don't understand why we can't take the needle exchange program one step farther, and rather than just giving them free needles to go shoot up on their own, why don't we offer them a safe haven to come and start a medical assisted treatment program, and offer that as free as we do our needles, and we could solve a whole lot of other problems. And she kind of chuckled and she said, you've got a great thought there, and if you can make it work in Fayette County, the state will love to have it as a pilot.
And I know that when Paula was over originally, there was a significant portion of people that did go for treatment. I know that with Charmin, she worked with Paula downstairs. Her contacts are great at getting people in treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have people before you that need help, you can offer help. And so the needle exchange does serve as a venue to connect caring people who don't want to just give you needles.
Mm-hmm.
you know, they connect the resources. And so I feel like the right people over that is really important. You know,
And that's my.
Yeah, and I know that our world has a lot of flexibility, and that could look like me. It could look like Kay. I mean, we you know, if we are given that role, it would get done with integrity. And we are not gonna meet with people that we don't offer them options. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, Gary, I love people too much to just hand them something and want to walk away.
Well, and I understand that, but, and I'm just saying, you know, that's the only part of it that doesn't make sense to me, that
Well-
we give them free needles and syringes to go shoot up whatever may be on the streets at that given week, and our EMS and police and fire are still working with drug overdoses because of what they're got a hold of. And if we could just focus on getting them to use
not using.
to use the right medications
Yeah.
in those syringes,
I
we would solve, we would create a whole different savings in public service.
I agree with you. I also know that the only way that I was originally able to get my mind around it was the people who aren't needle users that could come into contact with HIV. Because, you know, I'm currently raising a daughter that my values would be that she would not have sex before she's married. But we do not live in a world that's the reality. And we do live in a community where substance misuse is higher here than elsewhere. And that is our reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so people who use dirty needles spread disease. I don't want my person that may never use to be exposed to what a person that has used. You know what I'm saying? Like I think you have to get your mind to another. Yes, we want that person to not use, but we also want the infectious diseases that they have to not spread, because it costs like hundreds of thousands of dollars to treat HIV and hepatitis.
Well, sure.
Where we are number 2 in hepatitis. We just haven't had that ground zero of HIV hit that population that we know of. Do you know what we're saying? And so while that is also a huge priority, it is also very important that our community does, you know, the HEP and the HIV numbers stay where they are or lower. We would love to see them go lower, and not to have that number 2 seat, because HEP we still set in the state, I believe, second in highest numbers of hepatitis. That is every time a person who uses shares a needle spreads.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's so Kay and I, like what we do for a living is talk about that. We've never ran a needle exchange, however, we're teachable, and we would if that's what we need to do.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
I think we've settled it for now.
And let me work on trying to get a time for Erica and Dr. White, at the very least, them two.
Sure.
So you're looking
And
at August 6th or a different day? Before?
before that. I would just soon not deal with this at a regular meeting, because I'd like to,
To not be caught over, like,
I mean, I'd like to not be burdened down by the rest of the business of the day.
Are they gonna be in our meeting too?
Yeah, it'll be a public meeting, so, yeah. Yeah, we'll advertise a special public meeting.
and we may also have some experts that are above my skill set that can join us. Once that date is set, like,
Yeah.
And if you can get me get us any educational information that we need ahead of time, so that we can read through it and.
Kay's fantastic at that. She's good at getting people.
So,
A lot today.
yes,
You want me to do that?
I don't care. You can.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't care, I just wanna make sure that we're clear on who's gonna do it before we
Yeah, you
leave.
can. Yeah,
Okay.
you can. And
So, any?
have her give us some dates.
Okay.
Most likely, Dr. White's gonna be it's gonna probably be more convenient for him in late afternoon or evenings, I'm guessing, I'm not sure.
I'll let you type your number in and then you can answer.
Oh,
I don't know how I don't have your number.
I was gonna say, I thought
So
you
you'll let me
did.
know a date, Jane?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your, I don't know how I used to talk about it with you.
I appreciate your input. Thank you very much. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I got a question. I had an email from Adrian about the batteries for the, do we need to give him approval to go ahead and purchase new batteries? or
I told
what?
him that it could be taken from our equipment line item
Okay, he's gonna
in
go
our
ahead and-
commissioner's budget, and he said he would go ahead.
Okay.
So we can approve that through claims process, but it's $1,000 line item, and he said $90, so
Yeah, I just want to make sure we got them.
was his quote. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to approve claims and payroll
I'll move to
as
approve
presented.
claims and payroll.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded that we approve claims and payroll as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. We'll go ahead and sign before we adjourn. As usual. Dale, I'll try to get them all separated this time.
Okay. If you miss one, I'll let you know.
You said evening, right?
I'm sorry?
You did say evening.
After, late afternoon or evening. I'm guessing will be the best time for Dr. White, but I'm not for sure. Maybe I need to make another contact with him.
Too late, I didn't email Erica.
I'm sorry.
I said too late, I didn't email Erica.
Okay. Well, could you ask her did you ask her just to give us some
I
dates?
said, yes, please just give me some available late afternoon or early evening dates.
Okay, and then I can go to
Agree on
Dr.
it.
White
Yeah.
with those. I think that's all. Bob wasn't here today.
No? He'll watch it online, I'm saying.
I hope he's all right. I guess is what I was thinking.
I don't have any news on that. You two gonna be at our meeting at 6 o'clock?
Yes, sir. You bringing food?
Yeah, I've got a used honey bun in there.
You want to keep this letter?
I think I've got a copy of that. I think. We probably shouldn't just throw it away. The mayor went to all that trouble to send it to us.
You want to keep it? I'm tired of carrying it around. Well, I've been pretty good without.
You got that one too.
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to keep copy of this one?
Yeah, you can keep that. I still got the email.
I'll scan it. It may or may not be.
What?
I'll scan it.
Okay. Are you sure you want to do
And then
that?
yeah. I'll try to scan them twice.
In 2 different folders.
Yeah.
Kathy, did you have anything for us or questions? Okay, all right.
Adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion to adjourn has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.